you. You know I'm alive with you.
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Ferg here, back again with another Call of Duty mobile video, and in today's video we are going to be going through 7 things that you guys can do that will make you be better at the game, and it's basically what pros always do. I actually got this idea from a fellow YouTuber, Bobby Plays. I'll leave his link down below. He's a great YouTuber if you guys want to check him out. But without any further ado, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this giveaway that I have going on, and then we'll get right into it. Alright, so I have a $1,000 giveaway going on right now. Links in the description. It will be at the top. It is on TikTok, so if you guys do have TikTok, all you need to do is click the link, go and follow me, comment under one of my posts for an entry as well. You can share it for another entry. Obviously following gives you an entry. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But yeah, following, you can comment and then share any single one of my TikToks, and every single time you do that, it will be an entry into my giveaway. There is going to be $100 given to each winner, so that means that 10 of you guys can actually win, and that is pretty high chances. That's quite a high chance, considering that I probably will only get maybe, I don't know, 5,000 TikTok followers or something like that. So if you want to enter that giveaway, make sure to click the link down below. It's $1,000 total. I'm giving away this month, the month of January, on TikTok. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get into tip number 1 that pros always do, or that pros are trying to learn. So straight off the bat, tip number 1 is gun selection. Gun selection should speak for itself. People who walk around with guns like ICRs or Razorbacks or even the M4 are basically using guns that are not at the top of the tier list. Now what you want to be doing if you're trying to become a professional at this game is only use guns that are at the top of the tier list. Now what a tier list is basically down at the bottom. Think of it just as a normal list. Down at the bottom is the bottom tier guns, like the M4, the Razorback, the ICR. Like they're at the bottom of the list. The Chickums down there. But if you are looking for top tier guns, you need to go to the top of the list and look at all the statistics and recognize which guns are actually the best in the game and which guns people are just saying are really good, but they're not actually that good. So for example, one of the best guns in the game right now is the SMG, known as the MSMC. If you're an MSMC or an SMG player, that would be great for you, because it is a perfectly viable weapon in ranked. It's also a perfectly viable weapon in public matches, and it is an absolutely viable weapon in scrims and tourneys. I mean, this gun absolutely shreds. Also, another example for maybe the assault rifle category would be the Type 25. I mean, it's basically the best assault rifle right now, along with the AK-117, but I would still say that the Type 25 is your go-to gun if you're trying to become a pro in this game. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on to tip, or something that pros always do, number 2. Okay, so tip number 2, it might come as something that seems kind of obvious, but to most players I know in past Call of Duty titles, and also in games like PUBG Mobile, Rules of Survival, Knives Out, Fortnite Mobile, anything like that, this tip doesn't seem to get through to people's brains, and that is that toxicity is never good. If you're being toxic to your teammates, you're being toxic to yourself, you're being toxic to your opponents, any kind of toxicity is just going to hold you back from learning from people. So why be toxic? I mean, if you're playing against a good team and you're cussing them out and calling them trash and they beat you, what is the likelihood that they're gonna help you understand why they just destroyed your ass? That's just not gonna happen. People don't help trash talkers, so why trash talk? If you're always being positive and always promoting good chemistry with your teammates are gonna love you. They're also gonna like the fact that you're not trash talking all of your opponents, and you're also gonna feel better when you're playing, because you're not gonna be as negative about what's going on when something bad happens. It just makes perfect sense. I don't understand why people still constantly trash talk each other. If you took the time out that people trash talked each other and they spent it on learning the game, there would be a lot more top tier pro players in this game. It's the same for every single mobile title right now. I'm not too sure if it's the same on console and PC professional games, but I know on mobile it's pretty much a worldwide issue. If you're being toxic, you're wasting your time is what I'm trying to say. You would probably become twice the player if you took all of the time out of you being toxic and threw it into you learning the game, trying to get friends to learn from. I mean, it's common sense to me. Obviously, a lot of people are like, what is he talking about? I can be as toxic as I want. Trust me, you will be a much better player at this game if you find good teammates, create nice chemistry with them, and don't promote toxicity. I swear it will help you out so much. It's such an underrated tip. Now, tip number 3 is discussing perks and score streaks. Obviously, people don't really know what the correct rule set will be for the official Call of Duty Mobile, like, World League or whatever they're gonna call it when everyone in the world is playing against each other. But we're just gonna go off the ranked stuff, and since there's no rules in ranked, I'm just gonna give you guys my honest opinion. So obviously, perks are a big deal. I personally use Flak Jacket, Toughness, and Dead Silence. Dead Silence is absolutely necessary. There is absolutely no way that you should be running around in this game without Dead Silence. If you're not using Dead Silence, you need to put Dead Silence on. The other two are slightly negotiable. I mean, Flak Jacket, if SMRS gets banned in competitive and scrims and tournaments, then Flak Jacket's not going to be as useful, and I'd probably say if you're a submachine gun player to use Lightweight, and then if you are maybe an assault rifle player, you should probably use Agile. But if the SMRS is allowed, you're gonna need to use Flak Jacket. And then second, like I said, Toughness, great perk. Obviously, if UAV or counter UAV is allowed in tournaments, then you might want to use Ghost, I believe it's called, to keep yourself off the UAV so you can flank around the enemy team, or even something like Cold-Blooded. But for the most part, Toughness is probably going to help you out the most, because in those 1v1 gunfights, you're not going to have a lot of flinch recoil, which is obviously really good. So with that being said, let's go into the score streaks. Right now for ranked, I use UAV, counter UAV, and VTOL. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna let you use UAV and counter UAV. So what I would use would be a Predator Missile, Sentry Gun, and then VTOL. I know the counter UAV and the UAV would be the optimum things to use, so if they do allow you to use them, make sure to do so. Also, don't feel like you need to use the VTOL. I just use it because I'm severely overconfident and my ego is through the roof. It's pretty obvious when I'm playing games that I just challenge everyone no matter where I'm standing on the map, just because I'm pretty cocky with my shot. That's not something that I would disagree with at all, because I know I have a lot of experience in mobile. I'm pretty confident with my accuracy and stuff like that, so I always like to have VTOL on. But if you're not as confident as me, maybe try a stealth chopper or something a little bit lower than a VTOL. If they allow care packages in the game in ranked, then give that a shot as well. But for the most part, you're gonna probably want to use UAV, counter UAV, and Predator Missile, unless they ban UAV and counter UAV in tournaments or scrims. Then you're gonna want to use like Predator Missile, Sentry Gun, Stealth Chopper, VTOL, those 4 streaks. So with that being said, let's get into the next tip. So the next tip that we're going to talk about is awareness. Every time you kill someone in the enemy team, you need to be aware of your minimap. Now the minimap, you may think that it is kind of useless other than when the enemies are shooting on it, or other than when you have a UAV. Well, that's actually false, because spawns are defined by where your team is and where your enemy team is. So if you can notice after you get a kill on the enemy team that your teammates are standing in certain locations, you can predict where the other team is going to spawn. A really easy way to learn this is just by playing Domination, because Domination has really set spawns just around the flags. So if you can see your teammates going up the map in certain directions and they've pushed up to the center, you can basically tell that every single other person on the map that's in the enemy team is going to spawn on their home base flag, because you have control of your base flag and the middle B flag. Once you play the game more, and once you play game modes like Hardpoint, Team Deathmatch, you'll start to learn to look at your minimap and see where your teammates are in order to predict where the enemies are going to go. But if you want a really in-depth video on this, leave a like. If we get 20,000, I'll do an in-depth video on spawning in this game, and I'll tell you guys how to basically predict where people are gonna spawn, because a lot of people in my stream always ask me about that. Always say, like, how did you know he was gonna be there? How did you call that out exactly what he was gonna do? And all of that stuff. And I feel like it could probably be a really good video for the people who are not as experienced in Call of Duty as maybe people like myself. So if you're interested in that, make sure to leave a like, comment down below that you want to see it, and let's move on to the next tip. So the next tip is learning how to adapt or adaptability. This is probably one of the other most underrated things that you need to understand in Call of Duty. If you have a particular gun type, say you're a sniper that you like to use, you're not going to be able to use a sniper all the time. So what are you going to do if you can't snipe? You need to switch classes. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to use a submachine gun, an assault rifle, a sniper, even a shotgun, even a pistol. You need to be able to use every single thing in this game without having any flaws in your mechanical gun skill. Like, you could be the best sniper in the world, but if you can't use any other guns in the game in a pro tournament, what are you gonna do? Like, if you find that the whole other team is countering your sniper because they know that you're probably one of the best snipers in the world, you're gonna end up getting no kills, then you're not gonna contribute to your team, you're probably gonna get annoyed, that's gonna turn into toxicity, then your teammates' chemistry is gonna go down, they're gonna get annoyed at you, and then you're gonna lose. That is literally the roadmap to defeat. If you can't use every single gun in the game to a high level, you're not going to be able to perform well in scrims or in tournaments. If you guys don't know what a scrim is, it's like 5v5 where the professionals versus the professionals are practicing against each other, but there's just no money on the line. It's basically like a tournament, just no money. But either way, unless you can use every single gun class or gun archetype or category to the highest ability, you're probably going to have a lot of flaws in your gameplay. So that's basically what you want to concentrate on before mastering one particular category or archetype in terms of guns, like a sniper. I see a lot of people just going in with a sniper and just expecting that if they can snipe, they can use any gun. Not the case, because you need to control recoil in other guns, and you don't need to control recoil in snipers unless you just aim down and hardscope all the time. But then again, who hardscopes all the time? After you take a shot, you should be moving, sliding away straight away, but that's another thing that we'll talk about in just a second. Also, you need to adapt to the environment. Game modes like Hardpoint will probably be in tournaments, and Domination. Adapting on the fly when you're playing those game modes is key, because those game modes don't have little timers in between rounds like Search and Destroy do, where you can basically think out what you want to strategize and do next, and also communicate with your teammates. This is literally non-stop action, and you need to be communicating fast. Being able to communicate is probably another tip that I should probably put in a different list where I really go in depth. But you need to be able to communicate, change guns, decide when to use score streaks correctly, and understand the map flow. You need to be able to adapt on the fly, like instantly. Search and Destroy, like I said, it's a little bit different. You have some time in between rounds where you can kind of decide what you want to do with your team and stuff like that. But Domination, to be honest, you should probably just try and play as much as Domination as you can through ranked in order to raise your ability to adapt in the game. Search and Destroy is one of those game modes where it's more slow paced, and it's almost like you're having a conversation with your teammates when you're playing it in tournament play. But Domination is, and Hardpoint, when it comes into ranked, which it will, those two game modes are absolutely nuts. Especially Hardpoint. Hardpoint is the craziest. If you guys have not played Hardpoint in a competitive environment, it's the craziest game mode you will ever see, and it is the most exciting and exhilarating game mode to watch in tournaments, and I'm super hyped for when it comes out and stays permanently and then goes into ranked. Another tip is your mechanical skill. This includes things like sliding, jumping, and overall gun control. Now, gun control basically means controlling of the recoil. Sliding and jumping are pretty much the same thing. As soon as you jump, you want to go into, or as soon as you slide, you want to go into a jump, and that will help you out. It's 2 fingers you're probably going to need for that. That's why you need to be using 4 fingers or above. I personally use 6. I've used 8 in the past for different titles like Fortnite Mobile or Rules of Survival, but since there's no leading in this game or building, I really don't need to use 8, so I just use 6, so I can basically jump and slide instantly, then aim down my sight and shoot, and also aim around the screen with my pointer finger. So I'm using like 5 fingers like instantly like that. Obviously, if you don't use different fingers to shoot and aim, you can use 4 fingers, which is really, really good as well. But you definitely need to use 4 fingers for gun control and sliding, jumping, and obviously all of that good stuff. Mechanical skill is something that can only be learned through you actually practicing it, so there's not really much I can say about this other than that you just need to get into a game and practice it right now. Last but definitely not least is similar to what I was talking about with mechanical skill. Like, mechanical skill can only be learned. Well, this is called map knowledge, and map knowledge is something that can only be learned by you playing games or watching YouTube videos. If you've seen in the past, I uploaded like secret spots, tips and tricks videos on certain maps. If you want to see more of those, let me know, by the way. I should probably get around to doing more of those. But basically, your map knowledge is how much knowledge you have of the map and how many different angles and approaches you can take in order to win gunfights, because at the end of the day, that's a lot of what Call of Duty is about. Winning gunfights, going for the objective, trying to plant the bomb, trying to get the flag, trying to hop into hardpoint and get as many seconds as possible. That all comes under map knowledge. If you can find ways to pick your opponents off with really strange, weird, quirky angles, you're gonna have a much better time playing this game competitively than half the other pros scene, just because they don't understand the map as well as you do. Also, once you get into what I call a flow state in the map, where you don't even need to consciously think about what you're doing, that is when I believe you've personally really mastered the map. A way to tell if somebody's in a flow state if they are streaming is if they can constantly talk and also get like nukes and just constantly frag out without even thinking about it. They're like just sitting there having a conversation with their chat or something like that, but they're also completely destroying in a ranked game. That is when you know that somebody is in a flow state. They're so concentrated on the game that they are able to do everything super fast, and the only way they would be able to do that is if they had infinite map knowledge about what is going to happen in the game. That also comes under spawns as well, but that's more awareness rather than map knowledge. But map knowledge and the understanding of where everything is in a map and how much time it takes from one player to get to the next position and the next position and the next position is going to help you out dramatically. I would definitely recommend going back and watching my other videos about that, and if you guys want to see me upload more videos about map knowledge in certain maps and stuff like that, then let me know in the comment section below. But that is going to wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what you think about it, and let me know if you think I should upload more of these, because I actually really like giving out my knowledge and what I know about the game. I honestly probably have like another 50 to 60 tips that I could give you guys, but obviously that's way too much for one video, so this could turn into a series. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think about that. Subscribe if you guys are new, turn on notifications if you haven't already to be notified of when I upload a video, because I do upload here every single day. It's been your boy Ferg. I love y'all, and without further ado, let's roll the outro. Bye!